welcome back everybody to Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Minimalist Run. And we're back here with the Dark Link, the mini-boss of the Water Temple. The most hated mini-boss of pretty much the entire Zelda series, just for how annoying he is to fight. So, the first order of business actually of fighting this guy is to not fight him at all. If you want him to be a little bit on the offensive, for that to happen, you need to wait about a minute and a half or whatnot for him to become fully opaque, to get solid dark, so that he starts attacking you. Before that point, it's going to be a little bit hard to land any hits on him. Now, if you have the big Goron sword, that's something else entirely. You can just attack him with impunity because he has really no defense or counter against the big Goron sword, which is a prize for completing the trading sequence, the one and only trading sequence of the game. Or actually, the adult trading sequence. There we go. So the trick to Dark Link is that he has the same life meters you do. He is literally a carbon copy of you. So I have 3 hearts. He has 3 hearts. If I came in with like 12 hearts of health, he would have 12 hearts of health. So if you take damage, he takes damage. However, if he lands the last hit on you, you're dead and he's not. So you have to land the last hit on him. So this is a really tricky game to play here. It doesn't matter if he hurts me. See, if he hurts me, he's hurting himself. So I don't really care how much he hurts me up until that last hit. That is where it really matters, is who gets that last hit. Jump attacks are your friend. You usually want to jump attack just as he is making his attack. The timing is very, very slim, because as you saw, he would jump out of the way. It is very difficult to time your jump attack. But you want to do it right as he's attacking, which is why I say you want him to be dark so he's on the offensive. You can exploit that small bit of time. See, I didn't even think I was going to make the fight here, because I'm just about dead. But at the last second, my hit connected before his, and he's dead. That still doesn't change the fact that he is one hard mini-boss. One of the hardest in the game. But as it is, it was just one big illusion. It wasn't this massive pond in the middle of the dungeon. It was just an illusion. Don't get me wrong. The long shot is a cool item. It just extends the range of the hook shot. But when I first played this game, I was like, is that it? Was that the whole point of me beating that awful boss that I just got past? That I spent hours and hours enduring most of the Water Temple, and for what? For another upgraded version of the long shot? I was expecting some new crazy item, you know, something original that I hadn't seen yet in the game. And it was just disappointing to see that it was more of the same. I don't know if they ran out of ideas or if they had this plan all along that they wanted an upgrade to the hook shot. But whatever the case was, I personally as a player was just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm failing miserably at getting rid of this Door of Time block. I may be stuck here for a long time. I was getting a little frustrated. I was like, come on now. The spacing is really tight where you have to be in terms of the block for it to activate. And by vortexes, she means the whirlpools that drag you down into pretty much the abyss. And you'll see them soon enough. But first, I'm going to need some hearts. And I see some hearts on the floor of the riverbed, so we're going to have to sink. That was wonderful. Those are the vortexes we're talking about. Pretty much you're probably hurting from the Dark Link battle, so it's a good thing they left these hearts for you to kind of pick up. I don't trust that small little chasm that dips down towards the vortex. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Yeah, we're done. There's no escape in this vortex. As much as you can try, it's no use. So that is what Navi is worried about when she warns you. Don't get too close to the vortexes because there will be no escape and you will have lost a full heart. Thankfully, it is not an instant kill thing. Although, given the situation, it probably should be. Yeah, that was kind of risky. I don't really remember too much about this room, but I could have sworn I probably had a lot of trouble getting through it. Especially these last 3 vortexes right here. That probably sunk anybody's day. Ah, yes! You have to use the chest as the hookshot target. Something you have not had to do before up to this point. At least not that I can remember. So that was a clever addition to pretty much using an existing object or item and giving it a new use, which is hookshotting. I mean, I think you've used that concept in Link to the Past. And I want to say it was in the water dungeon with Argus and everything where you actually got the hookshot. Where you had to hookshot a chest across the way. But that was in a 2D Zelda game. That was the first time I think hookshotting a chest in a 3D Zelda game actually occurred. That was an epic fail. Thankfully we got the long shot to get the heck back up. Okay, so now that we have the long shot, we now have so many more areas open to us where we couldn't reach before. First and foremost, I think we're probably going to need to lower the water all the way. So if you're good, and you know exactly what you're doing throughout the water temple, you only need to lower the water all the way down twice and raise it back up twice. You do the process any more times and you're just wasting your own time. Bumping my head on the wall, or the ceiling, it's cool. I'm curious though. More so the Zoras than the Gorons, but the Zoras seems to be more intricately involved in the royal family. There was that one time in Goron City where you had to play the Zelda's Lullaby to get entrance to Darunia's chamber. That was the only time I think you had to use the Zelda's Lullaby, but for the Zoras, you had to use it to enter their domain, and now you have to use the Zelda's Lullaby multiple times in the water temple, which I believe the Zoras themselves built. So it's interesting how much more connected they are, just by, you know, melody alone, if you will, to the royal family than the Gorons are. I'm wondering why that is, or if that was even intentional. It's just something I notice. Some things I think about. Okay, raising it up to the middle level gives us a couple things we can do. I believe we have access to one more key, and we can actually get the boss key at this point. Because honestly, once you get the long shot, about 80% of the dungeon is more or less explored at that point. You have one last major area to get to, and that's where the boss key resides. This is me figuring out where to go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. That eye switch. I remembered. I knew exactly what I was looking for. I was just trying to find it. Yep. Good use of the long shot. Good puzzle design. And if you had pulled this block earlier, you can now push it and get it out of the way. Finally see what is behind this block. Which is a key chest. Another nondescript square room. A cubby room. With 2 keys, I think that's all we need to get to the boss key. So we gotta sink all the way back to the bottom. Now that we got 2 keys, there's no reason to increase the water level just yet. With those 2, with the long shot, we have 2 areas to cover. We've already covered the first, and this is the second and last. This is a very interesting room layout. You have tumbling rocks that roll across and into vortexes, and just flowing water all over in a nondescript square room. A lot of tektites. Best chance you get is to clear off one side or the other of tektites and kind of work your way across the room after they're dead. Did those 2 tektites on the land take 2 arrows? Okay, I guess it was my imagination that I was thinking they each took 3 arrows. Kind of want to ride the currents just a little bit here. In terms of overall fusion design and stuff like that, I think the water temple in Twilight Princess actually pulled this whole concept off a lot better. And made it look nicer too. So not only did they pull off a very confusing water-based concept, water design, dungeon temple, whatever, they also made it look very pretty. As compared to this dungeon where it's pretty square and flat. Yeah. Now this is, I think, a little tricky. One side looks like it can be bombed, and the other side looks like it can be maybe bombed. But you don't know that unless you realize, hey, I only have one half of this passage here where this block resides. You gotta go over to the other side and bomb it. See that slight little weird texture change of bricks there? Indicates that there's a bombable wall. So on the whole, the puzzles of the water temple are not hard. They're actually quite simple, especially compared to the ones in the forest temple and some of the ones in the fire temple. My goodness. puzzles in the water temple are simple. Super easy. But it's the design, the overall macro element to the water temple of figuring out where to go for the next key and such like that. That is what people remember the water temple for, not for its individual puzzles like this. Rooms like this can be easily forgotten. You remember back on Ocarina of Time fondly as an adult. But it's the overall design of the water temple which gives it its infamy. Not rooms like this. When in doubt, kill those Tektites. Because if you don't from afar, they will come to bite you back in the butt. You could aim well. Well, that works too. Getting rid of them either way. Either kill them, or just have them move themselves out of the way. I cannot tell you how many times I've failed that particular room and had to fall down below and then rework my way back up. Many, many times have I failed that room. Very frustrating. Yep, didn't see that coming. At this point, I was like, screw it. Just gonna skip over it. Sometimes certain enemies are just not worth fighting over. And with that, we have the boss key. All said and done, I do believe that the water temple is more or less solved. We just need to raise the water level one more time, get to the boss, and finally claim our well-deserved water medallion and awaken the, what is it, the third, fourth sage, Rudo, which we all know is probably Rudo at this point. But at this point, it's now just backtracking back to the hub. We've completed all the spokes. For now, I must cut the video off, and I will finish off the water temple in the next video. Till then, everybody, see y'all later. We're almost to the end on this dungeon.